What's up, everyone? We're here at Defiance Municipal Court. Right here is where how's it going, everyone? I tried to do this video out at the courthouse. Actually, I did the whole thing, and then somehow my mic wasn't working. So anyway, I wanted to do this today's subject out in front of the courthouse to give it that background and setting, and I'll show a little clip where I attempted it, but I actually did the whole video in it, and I was happy with the way it turned out. So I'll probably like it better than the way this one turns out. But anyways, it was out in front of the municipal court to talk about this, what I'm going to talk about here, Criminal Rule 32.1, Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1. We're going to talk about that today, and why, we'll get to that. But a friend of mine sent me thing for Ohio Criminal Rule 33 and said, hey, I don't know if this would be helpful to you, but check it out. And I looked, and I took a quick look and told him, oh, well, that's basically what I'm doing. Well, I was a little bit wrong. I was a little bit wrong about that, because I'm not under Criminal Rule 33, Ohio Criminal Rule 33. I'm under Ohio Criminal 32.1, and it's really similar, except what he sent me was for trial, for a retrial, and the fact is mine didn't end up going to trial. And so that's, if you're in that kind of situation, that's what I'm going to explain to you today. I don't know. I'm real bummed that it didn't turn out, that it was all my audio. I thought, anyways, I'm bummed that didn't turn out. So we'll get into, so anyways, okay, let me start by saying it doesn't matter. You don't have to be from Ohio for this particular thing. It is most likely the state you are from has something very similar, but I'm going to be speaking of Ohio's rule because that's what I'm familiar with, and this is all the stuff I looked up. I'm not going to share everything I looked up about it today, but if anyone's following my case or my videos and understand at least a little bit what's been going on with me, I had to start researching a lot of stuff and figure out how to be my own lawyer, because I was screwed by my lawyer. And that's where we're going to get into Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1. So anyway, let's say you get charged with something, and you get whether it's your paid lawyer or court appointed, whatever, your attorney, your counsel convinces you to take a deal, and that's the only way you can do it, is to take a deal. And because as far as you know, everything is, he's telling you this and that's claimed, and so all you can do is go by that. Even if you believe you're innocent, he's hiding the stuff, it could be, and so you believe there's no way to prove your innocence. And all that be aside, whatever your reason is, after you take the deal, you find information that you're like, whoa, I didn't know this. Had I known this, and if it's provable, I would have not taken that deal, or whatever the reason is. If something about your attorney certainly fits into that. Okay, so I'm not sure what your case may be, but the thing is, if you have taken a deal and you find out if it's more than just, oh man, I shouldn't have done that, let me change that. You can't, that's change of heart. And that's what, as you'll see in my case, that's what later on we'll get to more of that stuff. But that's what Troy Essex here in Defiance is trying to beat me and try to say that I had a mere change of heart. So first of all, for anyone that's been paying attention, I certainly would not have taken my life to this drastic of measures for a mere change of heart. I certainly would not have letting things gotten this far over a mere change of heart. Okay, I am innocent. So I'm, anyways, it wasn't a mere change of heart. So there is options, and a lot of times you think there's no options, and your lawyers will kind of not so much let you know about this, because usually it points to them anyways. Okay, so your option is Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1. Okay, as we'll see in my case, we'll see under Ohio Criminal Rule 32. I'm not skipping over that, but what the problem is, so, and in my case, Ohio Criminal Rule 32B, okay, was violated there against me, because I was not given, at the end of my sentencing, I was not giving any information on how to appeal, and they have to give you that information. Okay, that's under Ohio Criminal Rule 32B, and that's important to know, because a lot of people don't realize that if you have been, if you've taken a deal and you've been sentenced, they have to give you notification of right of appeal. They have to tell you you have the right of appeal, and after imposing that sentence. And they did not do that to me, and I was not aware of this stuff. Of course, we hire lawyers because we don't have we're too busy working our lives away anyways, that we don't have the time to really take the time to understand this stuff. So that's why we hire lawyers. Okay, I didn't want a court-appointed lawyer. I hired a lawyer. A lot of times, usually I try normally defend myself anyways, because it's usually simple matters anyway. But this was turning out, I ended up in jail, so this was more serious. So I hired a lawyer, of course, and this was a big mistake. And Nicholas Fee out of Bryan, Ohio, don't hire him. You're hiring wolf in sheep's clothing. He's 100% working with the prosecutor against you. He's only worried about getting you deals. He gets paid one way or another. Either way, the lawyer always gets paid. So this is what we're talking about. Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1 is okay. And I'll bring that up. Is Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1, withdrawal of guilty plea. Okay, that's where, so I was like, so right now I don't have, of course, my situation, because the way it is, I wanted to do some of these videos way better than that when I'm talking about these subjects. But so Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1 is to withdraw your guilty plea. And a motion to withdraw a guilty plea or no contest plea may be made only before sentence is imposed. But to correct a manifest injustice, the court after sentence may set aside judgment of conviction and permit the defendant to withdraw his or her plea. Okay? And so so if your case is anywhere similar to mine, that's what I did. When my lawyer convinced me, did everything he could to convince me that I would just have to accept this plea. And not only did he do that, he knew that, if you're paying attention what happened in my case, they took my employment. So as soon as they took my employment, then he told me, well, he would be more than happy to, if I wanted to, even though I would probably lose, but he would take it to trial like I want, but it would cost me another $1,500 after he knew they just cost, anyways. But the point being is, when I accepted that plea, I then, when I returned to my home, what turned out to be was this person the whole time was trying to come forward in my defense, and the prosecutor, of course, ignored that and prevented her from doing so. And I had no idea, because immediately they put on this unlawful order on me that I was not allowed to have any contact, and I was not allowed to return to my home. And anyways, that's not where if you're following along, fine, thanks, great. But so I had to figure out, when I was presented with this, I was like, what? And I was immediately, how did I not know about this, right? Excuse me, Mr. Lawyer, how did I not know about this? And then I find out all of this stuff. He ignored that he could have beat it immediately. I was asking him while living in my truck, hey, I need to get back in my house. What the hell's going on with that? I'm trying to figure it out. We'll figure something out. Due process, dude. He was ignoring it. This is what they did it to me on purpose. But anyways, the point is, all this time I didn't know that. I thought this and that was being said against me, and found out later it wasn't. And my lawyer had all the proof. But so when I found that out, and there was other proof in my case, I then asked my lawyer for the copy of my case file, and he stalled that, so I couldn't file a normal appeal. And then when I stopped everything I was doing and put my nose down in it and started doing all my research. And that's when I found Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1, and for manifest injustice. And then so I filed that with the court, and a manifest injustice is to correct a manifest injustice. A manifest injustice means a specific finding by the court that the imposition of sentence is unreasonably harsh or shocking to the conscience of a reasonable person with reasonable person with due consideration of how posted up there. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked because my dog's having fun watching these people jog by. Anyways, so if you're gonna fight that, but anyways, so I filed with the court in Ohio as under Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1, and now you gotta do a little research to find out what that's about, and you gotta put in your research there, and then you want to research past cases and find out who's used it and how it's been applied to give you a feel. You gotta know what you gotta let them know know what you're doing too. So I filed my motion to withdraw plea, and the judge didn't even. Instead, he allowed the prosecutor he allowed the Troy Essex, who's representing the state, he allowed him to just decide to deny, and then he signed off on it. Is pretty much what happened on one of the court recordings that can be proven. But anyways, it don't matter. The court denied it, and I submitted the proof to why. Well, the one thing is hold on, because I was unlawfully kicked out of my home. That should be enough reason. Two, so the court made an unlawful order. Two, so you got to put in your motion to withdraw plea. We'll get into how to fill those out later too, and how to do a proper motions and what they mean and how to properly do them. But motion to withdraw plea, if you turn that in, and if you're successful, then that puts your case back to right where you was at before you took the plea. So there's no deal anymore. You're right back there, and if it's at the moment where it's about to go to trial, then it's on to trial, whatever, right? But you're now alleged guilty, innocent until proven guilty, right? That's what they claim, but no, you're guilty until proven innocent. But anyway, so under Ohio Criminal 32.1, that's what that is. So when you're alleging that, but you gotta use court documentations and speak in court terms when you're doing that. So you want to, when you're trying to move your court, especially, you gotta let them know how. It's way better when you kind of know what you're doing and do your research, and that's where I'm talking. We'll get more into some of this, but there's stuff out there, and you got to read a lot of it and a lot of these cases in the case law and start to get the understanding for yourself. But so when you submit that, let me find it here. So you gotta, you gotta announce to the court. I'm sorry, this ain't the one I had earlier today, but you got to announce to the court, because I'm filing under 32.1, under criminal rule 32.1. I'm gonna rough draft it for you right now at the moment, whatever, right? But in order that the third court of appeals, in my case, that's whose order. That's the district over the court I'm in is the third court district of appeals of Ohio, right? The third district court of appeals of Ohio, and you find out your district, and your state may have districts like that or whatever, and that's what you want to find how they've ruled, because you're letting that court know this is how they've already ruled. You're letting the court know how it's, so, and you got to say, in order to file a motion to withdraw a plea, the third court has already decided in State versus Smith that it will have to be found to have abused its discretion, and that the decision was contrary to law. Okay, and then you put something else in there, 32.1, how the other courts have decided what a manifest injustice actually is, right? In order to claim a manifest injustice, State versus James, 3rd District, 2020, Ohio, 720, you got to put the citations in there. And when you do that and you say this court, the 3rd District of Court of Appeals, or whichever your district is, right, already held that a manifest injustice is a fundamental flaw in the plea proceedings and an extraordinary case, right? I'm sorry about that. So, you got to have, like my case, I can prove that. My lawyer hid, and I got evidence. Why would I have accepted a plea if I knew that the person you guys are claiming as a victim is the person coming forward in my defense? Why would I have accepted a plea? That's right. I'll scratch that out. That's dumb. That's ridiculous. But, so that's what Ohio. So I'm not saying it's going to be easy if you do it. If you're from this area of Ohio, good luck. But these are your remedies. And, you may be thinking your lawyer might not even be telling, if you talk to a lawyer, and they might not even let you know this, because of course it's going to make them look bad. You got to find where there's a flaw in the proceedings. Okay, in mine there's some major flaws. One, the court didn't even tell me what my appeal rights. That's a flaw right there. Okay, it's enough where you can get out of your plea. To prove once it's proven. And when you submit it to the appeals court, right? And we'll get into appeals later, and how to do these forms, and how to cite the courts, and how to fill this stuff out properly. I'll post up what I can. It's real rough right now to be able to do that, but that's a remedy available to you if you think you're trapped because some crappy lawyer screwed you over and talked you in a deal and you took it. There is a way out, and if and there's it's not like even if it was a year ago. Consider this right now. Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1. Submit your motion to withdraw plea, and then hopefully I will be able to get some stuff together and show how to properly do a motion to withdraw plea here in Ohio. But like I said, your state will be very similar in the way these court documents go, and the way you appear in court, and all stuff like that is all very similar. And it's a matter of if these guys are going to be honorable or not. What I was saying when I was when I tried to do it there, when I had it all, I wish it would have turned out, because I had it all done there and in front of the building there, and I was saying that's one of the most unsafest places there is. I've been in some real scary situations in life around some real bad people, and sometimes put myself in those, but the point is that sometimes even you're praying to get out, to get the heck out of them situations alive, right? And I trust any one of those people more than I trust the people sitting inside those court buildings. And that's sad to say, but they're not. There are servants, but they're not serving us. Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1, and as I said, your state will have something really similar to that, but you want to look into that, a motion to withdraw plea. If you're innocent and you found stuff that just ain't right. And these guys, they run me through it, and now look at my life, and they're telling me to go beg for stuff at the food banks and sign up for food stamps and all that stuff, right? But the funny thing is, when they acted against me in order to get another case for government funding and to another attack on gun rights in this Republican-ran city, and in order to help the government do that, they applied a fake domestic violence charge on me, and this alleged victim they catered to never had to ask for a thing. They showed up at the door day and night, showing up at the door, offering this assistance, offering that, forcing me to have to pay all this stuff too, and making sure, making sure. But then when I prove I'm a victim of their stuff, all that stuff's yanked away from me. And nobody, they're not sending stakes to me. They're not making sure my house is not touched. They're not telling me, oh, you know what, nobody can touch this house until this is all situated, right? Oh, but no. And to this day, the update on my case, to this day, they still have not given me my stuff. Today's Thursday, right, September 14th, and still they have not given me my stuff. Still, these assholes have not given me my stuff. So, hopefully it don't turn out like this for you. But if you've ended up in a bad situation against these guys and your lawyer screwed you over, there is still some things you can do. It's too bad sometimes we get screwed into taking it this far, and there's other things we'll get into later about what we can do to properly get stuff thrown out in court. Had I known how my lawyer was going to be, I would have been better off represent myself on the little I already knew, because I just would have been, because right off the bat he could have had me, he could have had my case dropped and thrown out, and instead he chose to side with them. And so that's why I had to file a motion to withdraw plea, and you're able to do that under Criminal Rule 32.1, and as long as you can prove a serious and fundamental flaw in the plea proceedings. Ineffective assistance of counsel is one thing that, and that's what I'm saying, you'll look into your local appeals court's decisions and find out how they ruled on that, and what they decided the definition of that is. And that way, when you go to prove your stuff, like for mine, I'm saying, first of all, my lawyer never even raised a claim on the failure of the court to follow my due process. Of course, the court don't want to admit any of that, do they? But clearly, that is ineffective assistance of counsel. If the idiot knew I was degraded into living out of my truck, even though I was innocent, and he didn't get me allowed back in my home by claiming failure of due process, and the reason, whatever, and they're not following due process. So if you're from this local area, I'm telling you right now, a lot of you guys could file under 32.1 if you take a good look at your case. Many of you didn't even have due process. So if you're in a fresh case right now, stop and figure out what due process is. And I talked about it in one of my other videos, but make sure they're following due process. So that's one thing right there. I've got several things on my case that prove ineffective assistance of counsel and a serious and fundamental flaw in the plea proceedings. And And that's what you need for Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1. And we'll get into more, hopefully soon. I get something worked out, and we'll show how to fill out these motions, and in the proper how to make them worded properly. You want to. What it comes down to, you're going to have to know how to word them in your own words. I got one motion. You could for motion to demand for discovery. I'm gonna, as soon as I'm able to, I'm gonna get a copy of that posted up on the website, and that one you can copy word for word. That's fine. But these other motions, you're gonna have to know. You're gonna have to be writing them, and know a little bit. You don't have to be a professional, and you don't know everything, but you will have to be writing them in your own words. And you'll do a motion to withdraw a plea, and you'll tell why, and you'll give the court an example of appeals court decisions that will back up what you're saying. That is why you should be allowed to. And in my case, I did that properly, and this court should have just allowed me to withdraw my plea. But they know that it'll be beat if they do that, and it proves they're all in it together. But hopefully you don't hit something like that. Hopefully where you're at, it ain't this bad yet. But I'm telling you, we're all running out of time to use these kind of available options, because they're not being honest about none of it. And here in Defiance, it's not so easy. I should have been able. Now I'm in appeals, and I'm trying to prove to the appeals court where this court should have allowed it. But Troy Essex is trying to tell them, I had a mere change of heart, and that this was the first he heard of my mentioning that protection order was not lawful. Excuse me, I've raised that from day one. Anyways, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about that, and that explains a little bit about my situation where it started out for me. After it started getting real bad in my case, where I found out where it should have been getting good, I accepted the deal and found out my lawyer screwed me over. What could I do? So Ohio Criminal Rule 32.1. Thanks for watching. Any questions you might have, put them in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And hopefully I did a decent enough job on that. I know the original video I did was good, but the mic wasn't hooked up properly, so my fault. But anyways,